going on? Welcome back to Focus Unleashed. Last week, we talked about expansion. And today, we're going to talk about something that goes right along with expansion. When we talked about expansion, we felt like, or I felt like, it feels exciting. It feels new. It feels like momentum. But expansion alone isn't enough, because stretching into your next level means nothing if you don't have the capacity to hold it. This episode is about building the internal strength, discipline, and identity required to sustain the level you're expanding into. Expansion is the reach, capacity is the stability. So we're going to talk about capacity and how it figures into the expansion phase. All right, welcome back. We're going to jump into talking about capacity. Capacity, for me, has always been something that I misunderstood. I thought capacity meant how much can I do? And when I developed this episode, the meaning really changed how I viewed capacity and how I feel currently on my journey. Capacity matters more than momentum, because momentum can get you to the next level, but only capacity can keep you there. I used to chase momentum, doing as much as I could, as fast as I could to keep the momentum. And I never thought about capacity. So I was chasing something that, when you think about it, it will never be as much as you feel you need. So you're overdoing things, not really completing anything. That was me chasing momentum, doing a whole lot of things that never really accomplished anything. And then I wondered why I could never fully be successful the way that I thought I should be. It's because I didn't have capacity. Most people expand faster than they can sustain. They stretch into new goals, new responsibilities, new expectations, but their identity, discipline, and habits haven't expanded with them. That's why they break. That's why they burn out. And that's why they fall back into old patterns. Capacity is the difference between temporary success and permanent transformation. That's been every journey that I've been on up until this point. It's always chasing the temporary success. How can I continue to be successful? Chasing momentum, because I thought actions, regardless of the intention, would always get me to where I was going. I didn't focus on creating the identity of the individual who is successful. I didn't focus on the discipline it took to be successful. And the habit, I had no habits that became natural so that I could stay focused and consistent. Now that I have that, at this point in my journey, I understand that I don't have to do more. I just have to be able to handle more. Because every time you accomplish something, that next step or that next phase comes with a little more struggle, a little more complication, a little bit more work that needs to be done. And if you have the capacity to take on more, not necessarily do more faster, that creates the permanence of success instead of the temporary that you're constantly chasing. So what I discovered is capacity isn't doing more. It's about being able to hold more without collapsing. Capacity is the discipline to stay consistent, the identity to stay grounded, the patience to stay focused, the confidence to stay committed, and the clarity to stay aligned. Capacity is the container that protects your expansion. If expansion is the stretch, capacity is the strength. Before making this episode, I thought capacity meant the ability to do more things faster, not necessarily be able to handle more coming at you and it not affect how you feel and how you do things. But that's currently where I'm at in my journey. Going into this next goal that I'm trying to accomplish, there's more work, it's a faster pace, and there's a lot that I need to learn to be successful. And despite all that coming at me as I jump on this path, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm not stressed, and I don't feel like that it's too much to handle. I'm very calm. I understand who I am as far as in my identity. I understand that this is part of the process and that I just need to stay consistent with the system that I've built. And everything that's coming at me, although it is a lot in the moment, I'm handling it far better than I ever have in my life because I have capacity to handle more. And I really had to understand that that was the purpose of creating this system. Yes, it was to create success, but it was also to build the identity of the individual that was successful. So from January up until this point, that's what I've been doing. And I knew once I started working on this episode, I knew that I was building capacity all those months up until this point because I can handle pressure without panicking. I stay disciplined without external motivation. I sit in discomfort without rushing out of it. Sorry. I hold multiple priorities without losing myself. I expand without breaking my identity. And I could stretch without snapping back. Those are the signs that my foundation is strong. Each one is a form of identity proof. And once I recognized that, I realized that I was moving into an uncharted territory for me. I've never had the capacity to build more after being successful. I've always chased just momentum, just action after action after action, no intention I just needed to complete something because I thought that was going to get me to where I wanted to be. But when things got overwhelming, when things started to pile up, that's when I started to break, started to feel overwhelmed, started to feel stressed, and I would then go back to parts of my old identity that caused me to lose track of being successful. I would quit, and that would be it. So, capacity is growing when you can handle the pressure without panicking. You can stay disciplined without external motivation. You can sit in discomfort without rushing out of it. You can handle multiple priorities without losing yourself. You can expand without breaking your identity. And you can stretch without snapping back. So once you're in this phase that I'm in, how do you build it? How do you build capacity to know that you can hold more? So here's how you intentionally build capacity. Strengthen your identity. You don't hold more by becoming someone else. You hold more by becoming more of who you are. Explore your identity shift. Increase your discipline slowly. Capacity grows through small, consistent increases, not massive leaps. Stay patient while expanding. Patience isn't passive. It's the anchor that keeps expansion stable. Revisit the waiting season. Practice holding pressure. Pressure isn't the enemy. It's the training ground for capacity. Build habits that you can scale. If your habits can't grow with you, your goals won't either. So a lot of it goes back to last month in the waiting season. Understanding who you are. Understanding that we are taking small steps, not huge steps. Practicing holding pressure. That develops the ability to hold more. And build your habits so that you can scale them. That's what I've been doing this whole year. And that's what this program is set up to do. It's set up to build habits that can then grow with you. It's not something that you're going to leave behind. It's not necessarily something that you have to change, but your habits grow with you to the point where you don't think about them. They become a part of you. You enhance them by understanding them better. Time management, relentless focus. Those ideas grow with you. You become more focused. You just aren't focused. You enhance your time management because you can always utilize time better as you grow into the identity. Capacity is built quietly. It's built privately. It's built internally. And it's built long before the results show up. And that's something that the waiting season kind of taught me. Usually after I accomplish my first goal, it's right into the next goal. How fast can I get this done? And the waiting season really helped me understand that I had changed. And that change, though it's good, it's very unfamiliar and it's very new. So understanding where I came from to who I am today with the new discipline, the new focus, the unbelievable consistency that I've put together this year, those are new. So understanding that I had internal and external shifts, understanding that I was going to have to be patient was a huge part of me getting to the point right now where I understand where capacity, what capacity is. And there's a truth that became very evident to me as I was building this episode. Holding more will feel uncomfortable. It will feel heavy. It will feel unfamiliar. But that discomfort is the proof you're growing. It's the sign your identity is expanding. It's the confirmation that you're stepping into a version of yourself that can sustain more than ever before. Capacity isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the quiet moments where nobody sees your discipline but you. And that was a big revelation. Because as I said before, I didn't understand capacity in the beginning. As I built this episode, I discovered what the true meaning of capacity was. And in that, I found the truth that you're going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel heavy. It's going to feel unfamiliar. And that's how I felt in June. I realized that I accomplished my first goal, and in that, I realized that my identity had grown, but it was an uncomfortable feeling. Very unfamiliar and somewhat heavy. But that was just proof that I was growing, and that even though I knew the second goal was going to be a little bit more difficult, I could handle it. And that's somewhere that I've never been before. I've never been that calm, that ready to take on more. And that felt very, very weird. But in developing this episode, I found that truth is it's proof that I'm ready and that expansion is the next step. And although I found that to be very uplifting, it also created a little bit of loneliness, kind of like the loneliness we talked about last week. Because capacity creates separation. Not because you're isolating yourself, but because you're elevating yourself. You'll outgrow environments that can't hold your new level. You'll outgrow habits that can't support your expansion. You'll outgrow people who aren't building capacity themselves. This loneliness isn't a warning. It's a sign you're stepping into territory most people never reach. It's the loneliness of the journey, and it's necessary. And discovering how much I've grown, realizing the internal and external shifts of the identity, last month was very, very lonely. And now that I understand that I can handle more and I'm not as stressed out as I used to be when I would try to accomplish something, I'm not overwhelmed. That loneliness is external because I really can't communicate that to people who aren't going through the same thing so that they understand where I'm at. but it's also internal because I've separated myself even further from the identity that I held on for so long to. I have been a procrastinator my whole life. I have been someone who had no confidence my whole life. I am someone who thought that just pushing, pushing, pushing with no plan, no focus would get me to where I wanted to be. And that person always found a little bit of success, but never to the degree that I found this year. So that separation from that identity created a little bit of isolation within me because I don't know how to explain that to anyone. And I don't understand it completely myself. I know I've changed. I know I'm a different person. But as I still create the identity of that successful person in 2026, it's hard for me to grasp that this person is going to be successful because I really don't know this person. The identity that I'm leaving behind is more comfortable. I know this person. I know this person like the back of my hand. I know when things get overwhelming, I know what's going to happen. While things are not overwhelming right now, with this new identity, I don't know what happens if things do get overwhelming because it's a shift in the identity. So that creates a little bit of loneliness internally because I'm leaving a part of myself behind. I feel good about it and I feel like it's part of the evolution, but it is lonely right now as I still try to build towards who I ultimately think I'm going to be in 2026. So right now, I feel like I'm ready to hold more. I'm currently holding more. You will know you're ready to hold more. You will know when you expanded, when you stretched, when you stepped into new territory. That's when capacity becomes necessary. Building that capacity is like building the strength to hold on to everything that got you here so that you can continue to be successful, so that you can sustain success, so you can grow inside of it, so that you become a version of yourself who doesn't just reach the next level, but stays there. Expansion is the reach, capacity is the strength. If you feel like I'm feeling right now, you are ready to hold more. If you're not here yet, the best advice I can give you is to go revisit the waiting season. Really dive into the internal shifts, how much you've changed, the habits, the discipline, the consistency. In episodes before, I always suggested to write it down and track it because it's something that you can look back on. And then think about what other people have seen. What have they said to you? What have you heard? Are you people saying you're distant? Are you they saying you're not doing the things you used to do? That's the external shift. It's lonely, but it's the external shift. And then once you kind of get in touch with the internal and external shifts and you work on the patience and you work on all that stuff, you will feel and understand that you are ready to hold more. And once you're ready to hold more, it's just time to stay consistent, stay disciplined, and get after those goals. As always, stay focused and be ready to unleash.